What if you were trapped with one of the most dangerous gangs, and they turned on you? How would you survive? Let's find out. We meet Lucy on a bustling day in the city, chatting with Richard outside a downtown office building. She looks like she's had a long night of partying, rough around the edges, hungover, and clearly in need of rest before her classes the next day. Still, she's laughing, playful, and trying to brush it all off. But Richard has other plans. He won't let her leave just yet. Instead, he insists she do him a favor, deliver a mysterious package. He reassures her over and over, everything's gonna be fine. Richard insists that Lucy take the package inside, claiming he's already been there too many times this week and can't risk looking suspicious. But let's be honest, Richard himself is nothing but suspicious. He gives off the vibe of a low-level pimp, manipulative and shady. Lucy, on the other hand, comes across as a carefree party girl, fun, indifferent, but not exactly known for good taste in men. In this moment, she feels unimpressive, almost like a pushover, which is exactly the kind of person Richard preys on. She clearly just wants to get out of the situation, though deep down, she senses something isn't right. Still, Richard keeps pressing her harder and harder, until finally, he handcuffs the briefcase to her wrist, leaving her no way out. Lucy is terrified as Richard forces her to deliver a briefcase to a dangerous man named Mr. Jang. Inside the building, she tries to play it off, but the guards quickly surround her. Through the glass, she watches in horror as Richard is shot dead. Dragged upstairs, Lucy comes face to face with Jang, a ruthless crime boss who emerges from a room full of bodies, making it clear she's trapped in something far bigger than she imagined. Lucy begs for her life as Mr. Jang takes a seat. Since they can't communicate, a translator is brought in. She's ordered to open the briefcase, and with everyone watching, she nervously obeys, expecting death. Instead, inside are 4 bags of strange blue crystals, a powerful new drug. To prove its potency, they bring in a junkie as a test subject. He reacts wildly but doesn't die, until they execute him on the spot. Lucy fears she's next, but instead of killing her, Jang decides to use her. She's knocked unconscious, her fate uncertain. Lucy wakes up groggy, her stomach bandaged and fresh surgery scars crisscrossing her abdomen. It's obvious, she's been turned into a drug mule. Still dazed, she's escorted to the lobby where an English-speaking man coldly explains the operation. She and the other kidnapped victims will be flown to different countries, have the contraband removed, and sent on. No sympathy, no coffee, just a warning that anyone who strays will have their family killed. Terrified and confused, Lucy stammers as Mr. Jang watches. He gives her a drink, she gulps it down and blacks out. As she loses consciousness, the handlers reveal the chilling final detail: they hold the names and addresses of every victim's family. There will be no second chances. Meanwhile, we shift to Professor Norman, a renowned scientist giving a lecture on the brain's potential. He explains that humans only use about 10% of their cerebral capacity, while dolphins, operating at 20%, developed sonar to communicate. With passion and intellect, he captivates his students, setting the stage for what's to come. Lucy wakes up locked inside a concrete room with an impatient thug demanding the drugs. Terrified and confused, she resists, but he snaps, beating her down with brutal kicks before leaving her to think it over. What he doesn't realize is that his assault has ruptured one of the drug packets inside her. The chemicals flood her system, triggering a violent chain reaction. Her nerves ignite, cells combust, and neurons fire like a storm. Her body convulses as if she's being burned alive from the inside out. Clawing at the walls and ceiling in a frenzy, Lucy's transformation begins. Her eyes blaze into a piercing, electric blue, the same color as the mysterious drug coursing through her veins. The professor explains that no human has ever come close to using 20% of their brain's capacity, but it looks like Lucy just did. He goes on to say that at 40%, a person could actually control other people, because at that level they'd also gain full command over objects around them. Telekinesis, and a host of other abilities, would start to open up as the mind expands. But, he stresses, it's not humanly possible to reach such heights. No one can truly control matter, and science has no way to study the what-ifs, because they're purely hypothetical. Then a student asks the big question, what would happen if someone ever reached 100% of their brain's capacity? The professor pauses, then admits quietly, I have no idea. Lucy sits in stillness, her mind racing as her body and brain sink in ways no human has ever experienced. She's lost in thought, on a whole new level, when the angry thug storms back in. But Lucy is beyond the nonsense now. With calm precision, she takes him down, and everyone else standing in her way, before slipping out into the city. Her senses explode outward. She can feel, hear, and sense everything around her. She suddenly understands languages she's never heard before. Following an almost instinctive pull, she heads to a hospital's surgical ward. There, in a moment of cold clarity, she diagnoses a terminal patient and ends his suffering. Then, without hesitation, she orders the surgical team to remove the drug packets from her abdomen. As they operate, Lucy calmly calls her mom, because apparently, having a heart-to-heart during surgery isn't weird for her anymore. On the phone, she tells her mother she can feel, see, and remember everything, from the moment she was born to the present. She senses the space, the air, even the pull of gravity itself. Her voice trembles as she cries, sounding like someone who knows she's saying goodbye. The doctor pulls the bag from Lucy's abdomen and recognizes it instantly, CPH4. He explains that it's a synthetic version of a natural hormone produced by pregnant women around the 6th week of pregnancy. This compound supplies the fetus with all the energy and information it needs to grow, telling it to form limbs, develop organs, and expand into life itself. In the doctor's words, it's the biological equivalent of an atomic bomb, packed with unimaginable power and potential. He admits he'd heard whispers that scientists were trying to recreate it, but he never imagined they'd actually succeeded. At this point, we're all thinking the same thing, if it exists in this movie, could it exist in real life? Lucy, meanwhile, understands what's happening. CPH4 is coursing through her veins, awakening her further, but it's also shortening her lifespan. She has no choice now, either embrace this transformation completely or not at all. And before that happens, she has unfinished business to handle. Lucy storms back into the high-rise where it all started and unleashes total vengeance, eliminating everyone inside. On her way to Mr. Zhang's lair, she cuts down even more of his men, no hesitation, no mercy. When she finally reaches Zhang, she pins him in place by stabbing through his hands. Then she dives into his mind, ripping out the knowledge he's been hiding, the locations of every remaining drug shipment. Zhang thrashes in pain and rage, screaming her name. Now Lucy knows the truth. To completely unlock her mind and reach her full potential, she needs every last dose of CPH4. Only then can she transcend and share that knowledge with the world. The clock is ticking, and her mission has never been clearer. Lucy returns to her apartment and casually gives her stunned roommate a quick dose of medical advice before diving straight into research. At an astonishing pace, she devours everything online, especially every paper ever written by Professor Norman. Then Norman's phone rings. It's Lucy. She's read all his work and needs to meet him immediately. To say he's confused would be an understatement. When she explains who she is and what's happening to her, he's skeptical, as anyone would be. So Lucy shows him. In an instant, she appears simultaneously on his TV, phone, and laptop, her image everywhere at once, a living manifestation of her new abilities. Norman is astonished, fascinated, and completely shaken. Lucy asks him what she should do with the overwhelming knowledge and power now at her fingertips. Norman tells her humanity's purpose is to advance, then pass on what we've learned. His advice is simple: pass it on. Together, they make a plan to meet. To get her hands on the remaining drugs, Lucy has to travel coach, yep, just like everybody else. She transforms her look instantly, switching appearances with ease to avoid being recognized. After all, her face is plastered all over the news. Now operating at 30% capacity, Lucy contacts a police officer named Pierre, filling him in on the situation. He's completely out of his depth, but Lucy is convincing. She identifies the mules carrying the drugs, tells him exactly where to find them, and explains who's pulling the strings. Boarding the plane, Lucy takes her seat and sips champagne like it's just another day. But while passengers relax around her, she's working non-stop on her laptop, her abilities becoming impossible to ignore. At 40% capacity, her mind starts to overtake her body, her transformation accelerating faster than ever. Lucy doesn't have time for the whole, tray table upright, seatbelt fastened, routine. Her impatience is boiling over, and her body is starting to break down. Her teeth fall out, her system flips into fight or flight mode, just like Professor Norman warned. It's a surreal, almost Sandman-like moment as her body begins to disintegrate, merging with the universe itself. The human form simply isn't built to withstand this level of brain activity. Her mind is overriding her body's limits, and she's falling apart. Desperate to stabilize, Lucy dives into the stash of CPH4 that was surgically removed earlier. She devours it with urgency, like someone tearing through a bag of chips. As the drug floods her system, she feels whole again, until her body dissolves into shimmering grains of sand. The cops manage to capture all the drug mules and bring them to the hospital for surgery. It's less like medical treatment and more like organ harvesting, but instead of organs, it's bags of CPH4. When Lucy regains consciousness, she's at 50% brain capacity. She knows she needs every last dose. Calmly but decisively, she takes down the hospital staff trying to restrain her, then seeks out Pierre, the officer she contacted earlier. She tells him he can help her willingly, or she'll simply take what she needs. But Lucy isn't angry, nervous, or emotional anymore. Something inside her has shifted. Her humanity has been stripped away. She's becoming more robotic, her intelligence so vast that fear, doubt, and anxiety no longer exist. After all, the only thing that scares us is the unknown, and to Lucy, nothing is unknown anymore. Pierre, realizing resistance is pointless, agrees to help. Together, they head to the hospital where the other victims are already on the operating table. Lucy warns him she'll drive, which leads straight into the car chase the movie clearly needed. Meanwhile, her expanding consciousness picks up everything from the airwaves and cell phone data around her. Zhang and his men are closing in, desperate to recover the drugs. And Zhang? He wants Lucy dead, still holding a grudge over those hands she pinned. The chase builds to a standoff at the hospital, just as Zhang's henchmen prepare to escape with the CPH4. But Lucy arrives right on time. Lucy has now moved past the stage of brain capacity that lets her control others, and she proves it. With barely a thought, she pushes men aside like they're weightless, disarming them instantly. Guns fly from their hands, bodies hover helplessly in midair, and the fight is over before it even begins. The men are furious, but Lucy doesn't even acknowledge them. She calmly collects the CPH4 and heads for the exit. Officer Pierre just stares, dumbstruck, unable to comprehend what he's seeing. Before leaving, Lucy gives him a kiss, not out of affection, but as a detached gesture of gratitude. It's mechanical, not human, yet still a thank you. Despite his confusion, Pierre follows her, sensing she means no harm and determined to help however he can. Meanwhile, Mr. Zhang spots Lucy leaving the hospital. She's so deep in thought that she doesn't notice him watching. He tails Lucy and Pierre as they make their way toward Professor Norman's university. When Lucy and Pierre arrive at the campus, they rush inside, tense and cautious. The professors gathered there immediately sense the urgency in their voices as they prepare for what's coming. Professor Norman has already briefed the other professors about Lucy, and now they're eager to ask questions. It's fitting, this is exactly what the movie is about, the human brain's endless drive to seek and understand more. The questions pour in, and Lucy answers with everything she currently knows. She's at roughly 60% capacity now. Meanwhile, outside the lecture hall, chaos erupts. The Taiwanese gang members, including the drug lord himself, have stormed the campus. Gunfire rips through the hallways as they clash with police, buying Lucy and Pierre precious time. Back inside, Lucy gives the professors a demonstration of what it all means. She explains that it all comes down to time. Humanity has taken the vastness of knowledge and shrunk it into something small and manageable, because our minds can't handle it in its raw, infinite form. We've condensed reality into bite-sized pieces so we can survive without going mad. She illustrates it with an image. Imagine standing on a mountain peak surrounded by water. What we see above the surface is the tiny fraction of the brain we use. Beneath the water, hidden and massive, lies the rest, the part we can't reach. For Lucy, the mountain is almost completely out of the water now. She explains that everything boils down to one truth: time is the only proof of our existence. Without time, nothing exists, neither us nor the universe as we know it. She tells the professors she'll need the rest of the drugs to push herself to 100% brain capacity. Her plan is simple: go full matrix, unlock every secret of the universe, and then pass that knowledge on. Her body is dying anyway, but this is her duty. There's no talking her out of it. When Professor Norman asks how she intends to share it all, Lucy calmly replies that she'll build a new kind of computer, one powered by her limitless knowledge, and she'll leave him the key to access it. By now, she's at 70% capacity. 4 lines are hooked up, the CPH4 melted into liquid form, and Lucy takes it all at once. 80%. Outside, the gun battle in the hallway hits its climax, bullets flying, bodies dropping, the chaos at its absolute peak. 90%. Lucy's body begins to dissolve into a strange black slime, spreading into every electronic device around her. She's no longer confined to human form, she's becoming something else entirely. Lucy begins constructing a supercomputer unlike anything the world has ever seen, her body dissolving into black matter as it fuses with pure knowledge. She reaches across time and space, stretching to the very edges of the universe. Her consciousness drifts backward through history, first to the 1800s, then further into barren lands untouched by man. She witnesses the age of dinosaurs, then continues all the way back to the very beginning. In this state, Lucy is silent, contemplative, calm in the middle of madness. She holds complete understanding of the what, the when, and the why. She will keep going until she touches the origin of life itself. Meanwhile, in the physical world, the last of Zhang's men have been wiped out. The walls of the room fade into pure white, the supercomputer that is Lucy coming fully into being. The professors stand in awe, confused but transfixed, while Professor Norman is overwhelmed with wonder. Everything he has studied, everything he has pursued his entire life, is now unfolding before his eyes. Knowledge that was once untouchable is being handed to him. But in the background danger still lingers. Mr. Zhang, alive and furious, raises his gun. Moving in slow motion, he stalks toward Lucy. She doesn't notice him, her mind is elsewhere, traveling further and further into infinity. She is nearly at 100%. At this point, it feels terrifying. Will Lucy die before the transformation is complete? Will all of it be lost with her? The gun finally goes off. But Lucy isn't there anymore. She's everywhere and nowhere, one with the universe. Her clothes collapse to the floor, empty, as if she simply vanished. Mr. Zhang stares in disbelief, unable to process what just happened. Honestly, if this guy uses more than 3% of his brain, it would be a miracle. Pierre wastes no time, he puts Zhang down for good. The professors glance around, dazed and bewildered, yet part of them seems to understand. They're brilliant minds, after all. Pierre, still reeling, asks the question on everyone's mind: where's Lucy? Where is she? A black, shifting hand forms from the slime and hands Professor Norman a literal flash drive packed with everything Lucy knows. Then, just like that, the slime vanishes. Lucy is gone. Now she's everywhere. This Earth was given to us billions of years ago, and Lucy forces us to ask, what have we really done with it? And what happens next, if knowledge has no limits? So here's my question for you. If you could unlock more of your brain's potential, how far would you go? Would you use it for good, or something darker? Lucy doesn't just tell a story, it leaves us with some big, mind-bending questions. Maybe that's the point. Think it over, and until next time, stay curious.